Welcome to part 31 of Persona 5 Royal. We're going to be going back to Madarame's palace in just a little bit, but first we need to rank up Takemi to level 5. Might as well do that first and get that out of the way. Because the more we rank her up, the closer we are to get to her rank 7.5, which will mean we'll have to go to Mementos. And by the way, we're going to have to beat Madarame anyway in order for her Mementos mission to be completed in the first place. On top of the fact that we're going to continue to also try to open up more Mementos missions. Because I do believe EY has another Mementos mission. And if I'm not mistaken, Sojiro will later on. But we don't have to worry about him until August. Or at least start worried about him until August. But whatever the case, in this portion, there's only one answer that is going to move up the ranks. The other two don't matter. And also the post-rank phone call. Those two are the only things that's important for this rank. The first two questions aren't going to mean anything. Like, for instance, what I just clicked. That's not going to mean anything because it doesn't raise up the level of the confidant rank. And this rank reveals that the patient she's working on has something called Crawford's End, which is basically the reference to Goucher's disease, which there is no plausible cure. However, she's actually making a plausible cure. Problem is, her boss, Oimata, is screwing everything up. By the way, this is the second question that doesn't mean anything to the rank. And she's trying to work under the table and make a living and still try to at least help people, all for the sake that she feels that she failed Miwa because of the fact that Omiwa told her that Miwa is dead. Well, that's not the case. Well, the first answer for this question is the one that's going to raise the rank, by the way, in case you're wondering. The answer would be, that's good. Yeah, I know I went fast, but you might have to pause for that one. And for getting rank 5, we now have support items that you could buy, although they're going to be obscenely expensive. You can buy them. And it's going to be at least helpful later on, as opposed to randomly finding them later or stealing them from enemies, which you will. Takemi's stuff is actually pretty good. Although there is some that actually does cause bad stats, there are some that actually cause good stats as well. So I think we're going to get those in rank 7 at least, the ones that cause good stats. But for now, you just choose the first option for the callback, and just like that, we have enough for us to go to rank 6 if we ever want to. And like I said, 2 more ranks and then we'll have to go to Mementos. And for the record, you need to have at least a good bit of charm, if I'm not mistaken, in order to go to Mementos. So keep reading those books. And that's all I gotta say. Or watching those DVDs. So now what we're going to do is head over to the beef bowl shop. Because we got to work there for the second time. Only this time, this is going to try to at least get the Sun Confidant rank to show up at Central Street so we can start talking to him. And we got to actually visit him twice in order for rank 1 to happen. So, with that said, you gotta remember everything. By the way, the first one's medium beef bowl curry, large barbecue bowl is the second one, curry bowl, that's large for the third, large beef bowl, and that's all you need to remember. Yes. This is actually mandatory, by the way. First one, medium curry bowl. The second one, large barbecue bowl. Yeah, it was a large barbecue bowl. Third one is large curry bowl.
Nice.
And the fourth one is a large beef bowl.
Well,
Those orders will never change. Get them right, and eventually you will run into Yoshida. By the way, this is the Sun Confidant. We don't have a card for him yet because we still gotta go through, well, an actual speech in order for us to actually get him. Well, two speeches actually, in order for us to actually get a confidant rank with him. But again, the Sun is one of the better confidant ranks, especially when it comes down to like negotiations with the shadows. So with that said,
Thanks in advance.
we managed to get some money, and more importantly, now we have Sun to show up in Central Street to give his speeches at any time. But we're going to go on ahead and finish Madarame first. And that's what the next couple of parts are. I mean, it may seem like I'm doing these in spurts, but in actuality, I was doing as much as I can before my time for me to go to work, or I was doing as much as I can before I think about it. So that's what these segments are. That's what happened basically. Because some of them may be oddly long and some of them may be oddly short. So, with that said, before we go out and steal Madarame's heart for real this time, let's go on ahead and buy this muscle pack. The muscle pack we are definitely going to need for later, particularly near endgame.
hey.
And the reason being, the more buffs we have, the better. And by the way, I wouldn't worry about that 8 million. It's going to be maxed out by the end of the game. But a word of warning to the wise, before you leave Madarame's palace, and by the way, that beef bowl is one of the ways you're going to have to do this, you're going to need 150 grand. 150,000 yen for later on in the game. There's a reason for that. I know I stuttered there. I know I had a pause moment, but you need 150 grand for the game. So with that, well, for the confidant rank that we're going to have to go through anyway. So let's get started with the palace.
Yusuke, we still need to explain the basics to you, don't we?
Oh, you mean about the metaverse and the nav? Yeah, I guess that stuff is pretty important.
Please elaborate.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. First, the metaverse spots where we act as the phantom thieves are called palaces. Palaces are worlds that take form from someone's cognition, a materialization of their reality.
So do we each hold palaces within ourselves as well?
No, not just anyone will have one. It's primarily those with strong, distorted desires.
They basically gotta be criminals. Real bastards like Kamoshida or Madarame.
On the other hand, palaces can't exist within persona users. It's just impossible for them to form. Basically, your persona is the true feelings of your heart, which arise from accepting your inner shadow. Then, since you have full control over your emotions, there's no way your desires can get distorted.
So that's how it works.
Obviously, I knew that. Oh yeah, and we use the Metaverse Nav app on our phones to get into that world.
It's actually pretty simple. Just say a person's name, location, and distortion, then you're in.
Location?
So like, Madarame's would be shack. Then his distortion is that he thinks it's a museum.
How do you know what their palace is going to look like if you've never set foot in it before?
That part's kinda like a quiz or something. It'll probably get pretty tricky from here on out, too.
I feel as though I have a good grasp on the basic concepts. If anything arises which I fail to understand, I'll rely on those more experienced than myself.
Yeah, I got you covered, newbie.
You should probably ask Morgana if you need anything.
Thinking back to Madarame, though, I can't believe he'd consider pressing charges.
Yes, I've never seen him show such anger before. He is most likely quite serious about that.
What should we do? There's no way we'll be able to win if that happens.
He likely won't act on that threat until the final day of the exhibit, June 5th. Simply put, I doubt he would be so foolish as to taint his name with a trial during his exhibition.
Alright, so we just gotta steal Madarame's heart by then? There's no way we're gonna let him press charges. We'll show people who he really is.
Alright, it's time for us to go into the palace, where we last left off, where we picked up Yusuke after he fell in from that gaudy door that we found.
Oh yeah. We haven't decided on the new recruit's code name yet.
It has to be Kitsune. You know, with that Kitsune mask and everything.
Hell yeah! That really leaves an impression.
Are you talking about me?
What do you want your name over here to be?
I'd say Da Vinci.
Nope. Well, you've got that mask like On said, and there's that weird tail. Alright, you're Aburage.
Very well.
He's agreed to it?
It's decided then. Aburage.
Nuh-uh, not happening. Do you have any ideas, Joker?
Oh, just keep it literal, huh? Sounds good to me.
What do you think, Fox?
It's acceptable.
It's set then. Let's go.
By the way, we should have Joker decide who our starting lineup is from here on out.
Starting lineup? You mean the ones who'll be going in first?
Yeah. Now that Fox has joined us, it'll be harder to move around as a group. We'll stand out more too. Considering how we've operated to this point, we should have 4 starters. Anyone else can be backup.
And I guess we always gotta have our leader with us, right?
Exactly. That's why we'll have Joker choose the remaining 3.
And what should the backup do? Would it be best for them to stay outside of the palace?
No. They should come in as well, but maintain a reasonable distance from the main group. In other words, the starting lineup is the first wave of our infiltration force. Well, we'll leave the team composition to you, Joker.
Alright, it's time for us to pick our party members. Just like with Persona 4 and Persona 3, when we start getting more members, we'll have to shuffle out some members in order for us to have a 4-man team. Obviously, with you still being in the lead. Now, I wish that's something that they could fix in Persona 6. Because that's the one thing I'll give them with Persona 5 Strikers. That you don't have to worry about Joker dying in order for the party to still be alive to actually get the job done. If they carry that over into Persona 6, that would be fan-freaking-tastic. But this is Atlas we're talking about. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. See Persona 5X for more details. But whatever the case, folks, we don't have to worry about that security system. Well, for now anyway. Because we managed to make sure that the security system is not working. So, we're going to have to further go in and disable the security system here. And my controller is starting to act up a little bit. And I want to try to... Oh god, I didn't mean to run in front of him! I was trying to ambush the dude, but I didn't mean to do that. Well, I guess a Xeonaga probably would have worked. No, actually, it definitely worked. And yeah, I went and got some Persona that would have actually benefited me for this entire palace. Because, let's face it, I have them at my disposal. I made them in the previous playthrough, so if it's there, I'm going to use it, and I'm just going to go on ahead and run through this entire palace. Now, I know that does not sound professional, but let me assure you one thing. The hardest challenge in this game is Lavenza. Plain and simple. Even I haven't beaten her. I mean, there are people that have, but I have not beaten her.
Easier than cleaning my brushes.
And that's primarily because I messed up royally. Whatever the case, I'm going to go on ahead and take this right here. And this is going to be our map. And with this map, we can finally go through the rest of this palace without any problems. Well, we can, but it's more of a maze. So we found ourselves some revival beads. Oh, we're going to need those. I can assure you we're going to need those later on. Not in the battle with Madarame. No, that's way too freaking easy. Especially now.
Careful. I saw a shadow.
But we are going to need those, for later on. Primarily because we may end up running into enemies that will use Mudun. And having those revival beans are going to be a godsend. More importantly, we got to watch out for those laser lines. Thank you, Third Eye. And even though I'm trying my best to sneak up on these guys, my controller is doing the most right now. Yeah, and I did get third-party controllers. But here's the thing, for some reason, they're working fine for 1 minute and all of a sudden they just stop doing things altogether. Hell, one of them's not even charging right.
Alright.
It starts. Like, oh, I did not mean to do that. And I was about to say, it starts acting up whenever I'm doing something. And sure enough, it did. Cost me to get hit right in the face with notoriety. Thankfully, the notoriety does not cause us to leave the dungeon. So we could at least, for the most part, whittle it down to nothing or go to a safe room and hide out. So, with that said, we had to take care of this boss right here so that way we can lower the notoriety. Alright. Once An learns Agilao, or everybody learns level 2 magic in this game, it's gonna be a lot better for me. Because seriously, while Joker can make these personas, he can't carry the load. He has to have somebody to help him out. Well, he can carry the load because he's at a higher level, but my SP will run out eventually. And that's the problem. I'm gonna be the one that's gonna have low SP and everybody else won't. So I'd rather they actually carry their own weight. Anyway, what I'm doing is actually showing that if you're not ready for what's up ahead, how you're going to get through this. Because there are other ways to get through this area besides sliding behind these electric laser lines. Yeah, you can't get there just yet. You'll have to navigate. And navigate the painting you shall. That will lead... The way that I just showed you will lead you back to the safe room, so that way you'll be able to heal or more than likely escape if you're not ready to take on the bosses coming up. But you should be, because you have Yusuke. This guy's a joke.
Hey, there's a strong-looking one over there. We've seen that kind before.
His stance conveys the notion that he is no ordinary foe.
I think the control room's behind him. He's probably guarding it to make sure nobody gets too close. However, we'll need to disarm the security if we want to ensure we have a safe infiltration route. Forcing our way through seems to be our only option. Hey, are you ready to do this?
Who are you? How did you get in here? You expect me to move just because you tell me to? I'm afraid you're sorely mistaken.
Alright. Now it's time for the boss. For the record, that is... Those two that's next to him are the Kopatengu. The other one, I do believe, is... I can't remember that guy's name. But if I'm not mistaken, all of them are weak to ice. But it doesn't matter. Because, as you can clearly see, I came in prepared. And more importantly, you can put that guy down to sleep. And one quick blast, that'll take care of him. Baton pass over to Yusuke. Like I said, you have Yusuke. All these guys are weak to ice. Might as well put down that Tengu as well. And for the technical and the win, it's time to put him down. See, what did I tell you? And it's not just because of the fact that I have powerful weapons. You'll actually get more on the way here anyway, so there's that. At least we leveled.
Whew, that guy was tough. I guess that's just par for the course in a palace.
It really was on a totally different level from the other enemies, though.
He dropped some sort of card.
What's this for? I've never seen anything like it.
Ain't it just some kind of loot? Come on, let's get back to exploring.
In case you're wondering, that skill card will come in handy. Particularly once Yusuke's confidant rank is available. Oh, and by the way, I didn't even use Yusuke's most powerful weapon. So yeah, it still didn't matter. The fight ended up going really, really fast, just the way I wanted it. So yeah, I should mention that these cards that you get actually are only for the main character's persona. So you can add skills to them that normally they wouldn't learn. And that's all those cards are for. In fact, those cards will actually help you out with the strength persona. And by the way, like I said, you would have got a better weapon just simply by getting the treasure here. So, since we're here in the security room, we're going to have to find the password to this as well. This one is not so easily found. As a matter of fact, we're going to have to get out of this room and go all the way to the gate to listen in on where the password is. Yeah, those two guards will be standing there. They will respond even though you've managed to defeat them. That's the one thing about this palace that kind of irks me. Even though I go through the trouble of acing everyone to try to lower notoriety, the game will put shadows in your way through events. So what we need to do is find the code that's at Madarame's feet. Well, ironically enough, what they're referring to is the statue all the way back at the beginning of the place where we had to fight off Madarame in the first place. And it's that statue right here. So, you would actually have to find out the code would literally be 1120 because it's in that order. And that is how you get the code. Anything else, you'll just have to guess again. So 1120 is the code. So let's cut back to getting the code. So once we go through all that trouble and inadvertently get some more notoriety on the way here because of my controller, and no, it's not because of my bad playing, because yeah, I understand sometimes I'm playing like a noob, but not in this case. My controller really was screwing up. But if you would have put 2101, you would have to go back and get the right number again. So to keep that from happening, 1120. That's all you need to know. And now that those gates are open, we can now access those treasure chests. And that's all what that's for. Well, one of the reasons why that's for. The other one is for us to access the rest of the room, which was guarded by, well, no, not because it was guarded by lasers, but it was actually guarded by a security gate. So we couldn't really go out that door and go to the next area, which is the painting maze. Speaking of which, that is exactly what we're going to be doing in the next episode. the painting maze. Because, oh, God, this is what I was doing off screen like an idiot. And it wasn't genuinely my fault. Yeah, I thought I could sneak past that, but I really did have to go around the back to the painting maze. Why did I do that? Because there was a dead end. The door we need to go to is this way. But before we do... Oh, we can't go up. We have to go there from the other way. See? It's this painting right here. So we'll have to do the painting maze now. And all that painting will do is bring us to that higher level. Get used to it, because there are multiple paintings that we're going to have to deal with. Ah, yes, Shades of Persona 4 Golden. I enjoy that game. I mean, I do enjoy Persona 5, but Royal just makes some unnecessary challenges and only makes it easier rather than harder. Alright, we can just jump down from... Not here, I think? Here, yes. There we go.
How foolish.
That... If you would have jumped from that painting maze, you would have went back to the other painting. But get used to this, because... Believe you me, you will have to deal with a painting maze. And, thankfully, we're going to be heading towards a save point. So, on that note...
Hey.
I should have known.
Let's get out of this area and get into the safe house. Safe room right over here. Oh wait, there's an enemy coming in. Might as well deal with him first.
There might be a safe room around here.
I said deal with him first. There we go. Alright. Let's take care of business here. Oh, wait. Ryuji's taking care of business himself. Alright. That's what's up. And just like that, quick, done, and over with. So, now we gotta go to this room right here, and that's where we're gonna stop it here. Because again, we've got another painting maze to deal with. And that's gonna be a pain in the behind, considering we gotta activate most of the paintings as well. So with that said, I'll see you all in the next episode of Persona 5 Royal. This is RVman95. Peace out, and take care. Cause, believe me, the maze is only gonna get worse from here.